we go. Hey, Money Magicians, how are you? So this was supposed to be a very cool live session that I was going to do on the Facebook group with Amara, but we've been trying for the last 30 minutes to make it happen. So we're now doing a pre-recorded session. So with me today is my friend Amara, and she did a human design chart as a gift for me last year. Okay, so let me backtrack. I'll introduce Amara and then I'll explain why she's on here. So welcome, Amara. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Vanille, and the group. I'm very excited.
Yeah, so, okay, guys. So Amara and I met in Goa. I don't know, like 2015 or something.
Yep.
And we became friends and started chilling. And oh, yeah, and Amara is one of the first participants that I tested the new Money Magic meditations on. Do you remember when I was trying to do the retreats in
Incredible.
Goa? Yes,
I
so
still remember it. It was incredible, mind-blowing, and very deep.
yeah,
I
we ended
think.
up doing the session together, and she was just willing to be a guinea pig and to work through some of the meditations with me. Yeah, so it was really, really fun, and we kept in touch. And sort of a funny story, in 2019, at the end of 2019, no, at the end of 2018. Yes, at the end of
No, at the end of
2019.
2019, yeah.
Yes, at the end of 2019. 2020 is like a blur for me. It's almost like it never
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Except it's
But
also
before
like
all
it
the hell,
happened. It's like a decade.
it's like before all the hell broke loose, basically.
Yes, exactly. So at the end of 2019, Amara messages me. She's like, "I'm heading. I really think I want to come to Sri Lanka. I'm heading to Sri Lanka." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I just missed you. I'm heading to Goa, but here are the connects for Sri Lanka." And I went to Goa. She was leaving India as I was heading to India, and she was coming to Sri Lanka, and I was going where she had left. And then she decided to gift me with a human design chart and a human design reading. So unexpected, but like, honest to goodness, I've been always interested in human design and wanting to do a chart and wanting to understand more. So now she's here to share with us about human design. So I got my chart done last year, and she did, well, gifted last year, and she did a reading for me. And guys, it has been so profound. The most profound, by the way, was the relationship element around human design, it just like opened up things for me. So you're probably like me and wondering what the heck is human design, because up until I met Amara in 2015, I'd never heard of human design. So Amara, you explain it so well. What is human design?
Human design, I can talk about this forever. So you'll have to cut me short at some point.
No, go for it.
It's been such a passion in my life. And I became kind of better at explaining in short what human design is.
Yes.
Basically, human design tells you you were born this incredible human being when you were born. And then
Yes.
because you were born in that specific society, you were born with these specific parents, you went to this specific school and the government and everything, you
Mhm.
went away from your nature. So
Yes.
when everybody claims that you have to better yourself, you have to become a better version of yourself and everything, human
Mm.
design is such a relaxation for me when it said everything, there is nothing wrong with you. You just have to go back to your nature. And human
Yes.
design does it in a very specific way. It tells you who you are. Basically, it tells you, okay, you came into this life with a certain gift, with a certain
Mm.
tools, with this
Mm.
specific decision-making process. This is what you are
Ah.
in relationships. These are your gift sides. These are your shadow sides. and how to turn those shadow sides into the gift side, because they're working hand in hand. And
Yeah.
everything is through this little chart, which is created for free online in a matter of seconds. And then by looking at this chart, I can just know um, everything and nothing about you.
Wow.
And
So
why I
I,
say everything and nothing, I just wanted to clear this. Why am I saying this? I
yeah.
can say a lot of things that you came with, but human design is very different from astrology, which they compare to, because
Mm.
fatalistic aspect that your destiny is this, you have to do this, and otherwise you're gonna. And I love astrology. I mean, I have deep respect for this knowledge. But
Mm.
human design tells you you came with this set of tools, and what you do with this set of tools, it's totally up to you.
Yeah.
And like with one hammer, you can become a constructor, or you can create a factory which creates the hammers, you know, or you can gift it to somebody and that person can create a business out of it and it will feel good to you. So there are multiple options. So human design
Yeah.
gives this liberation,
Mm.
incredible liberation from whatever constraints you are feeling all your life.
Yeah. So, what does human design do? So, I mean, talk us through like what is so intriguing and so special about human design. I know that it helps classify, is classify the right word? I don't know, but it helps people find out the type of personality. I think
Mhm.
that may be the way to explain it, that they are. Guys, as you can tell, I've been learning. The one person that put me on to human design, honestly, has been Amara. And then when she did the reading for me, it was like, oh my God, you know? So, please tell us about the personality
Yeah.
types or the human design types
Yeah.
that are out there.
So first of all, I would like to point out that human design is actually a whole education. So
Okay.
when we study like engineering, when we study physics, we don't just get a reading, right?
Yes.
Uh, we decide whether we want to go deep into it or not, because it's always up
Ah,
to you. It's not like you will not get any benefit from human design if you don't get the whole master's degree. You do. So it's all
yes.
up to you how deep you want to go. So
Yeah.
human design is a whole education, and you basically have to learn again what is it like to be you. So since there is
Wow.
so much information there in your life chart that you create, there is a whole lot, and the incredible thing about human design system that it is not a static system. It is growing within each person who gets a reading or who studies it, which makes it
Wow.
more fascinating. Yeah.
So it's that even if we're born on the same day in the same
Yeah.
location, we will not have the same personality type. So it's basically not, I
No.
get what you're saying now. It's not
Yeah.
like astrology, which I actually did not know this until you explained it. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not like, oh, we're born on the 3rd of April, we're Aries and we have the same personality types. No,
No.
it
The
works
incredible,
according to the individual.
yes, it is actually human design is for individuals. And in a little bit, I'll go into the types and everything. So
Yeah.
recently, like a couple months ago, I met a person who was born exactly the same year, exactly the same day, and pretty much the same time. So we have identical human design chart.
Oh,
And we became
wow.
friends. And I've been studying her life, like how her life went.
Yeah.
It was incredible to see myself in the mirror. Like she went for something that I said no to.
Wow.
And she said no to things that I said yes to. So I saw through
Wow.
her what my life could have been, not in all those details, but in the main things. It's incredible. And we have completely different lives. We chose completely different vocations, and she's happy right now with her vocation, like I am with mine. But this is the
Wow.
example when you do your twin chart, you see
Yes.
completely different lives, but you can learn from each other's lives where you go next. It's mind blowing. So
Wow.
it's something that I'm right now experimenting with while meeting with her. And doing some experiments with her. So this is something to also to ponder on. So if we go into the types, so human design first divides the whole
Okay,
human
sorry, I'm actually going to backtrack you. Sorry,
Okay.
guys, you know I do this, right? Like, I just realized that the best way for people to understand this is take us through, for example, when you needed to get my chart read. What information did you need? And then how, and then we'll talk
Okay.
about the various types and then like
Yeah.
the other things, because there's also numbers
Yeah.
involved, the 411 or I remember that. I was like, what is going on?
So basically, in order for you to create your chart, and this is the first thing you do, you need the information. And later on, we will link up the note where you can create your free chart.
Yes.
So you can have your chart in front of you. So it is
Yes.
the time of birth, the place of birth, and the date of birth. So these are the
Yes.
three informations. And a lot of times people ask me, like, what if I don't know when I was born?
Yes.
So the thing is, there are Vedic astrologers who do the rectification of the time. Because my mother did not remember when I was born, and I didn't have any document.
Wow.
She's like, I just remember it was life, it was.
Oh God, that's intense.
So happy that it was over, that she didn't check up the time. So I went to an astrologer, and the astrologers, they do incredible job as long as you
But how
know.
can they do that? Like, how do they find out what time you're born?
They ask you certain questions. They ask you very specific questions about the different dates that different things happened in your life. Like, as long as you know
Wow.
approximately the time of day, they narrow it down through the questions that they ask, like if you are married, what is the date you got married? Do you have any siblings? What you look like, all your features. And then if you had any abortions, if you had any marriages, if you have any children. So the dates, they ask all, and then they make it more specific, more specific, more specific. And then bingo, the time is there.
This is so
Yeah.
wild. I have
It
never
is.
heard of this.
It's incredible. They are really good. And I would recommend
Wow.
everybody to find this Vedic astrology, because Western astrologers don't do it. Only Jyotish, they have this. It's called rectification of the time.
Wow. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
have found Vedic astrology to be way, way more accurate than Western astrology. And of course, it also has different planets because they look at your dasha and where the
Yeah.
moon is and all that. Like, it's just like, I love it. It has
Yes.
helped me. I try to get a
Yeah.
reading, at least a reminder, like I need to get my annual reading for the year. You know, it's crazy, and it's like a different system altogether. So okay, but
Yeah.
wow, so much stuff happens in this world that just fascinates me.
I know, right? It's like human design is one of the ways, right? You can reach
Yeah,
by different tools, by doing different things. But I found
yeah,
human design, for me, it was like, okay,
yeah.
now I know where I can stop and I can go deep into this. And when I started going deep into this, I realized that it has all the universe there. So I found my
Wow.
universe in human design. Yeah.
Incredible, mind blowing. Okay,
Yeah.
absolutely love it. Okay, so you get the dates and everything, and
Yes.
then what do you do? So,
And then you go on this website, because in the beginning, when human design came into picture in 1987, everything was done manually. I have no idea how they did it, by following the moon and creating these graphs and charts, because human design
wow,
came as a revelation to one person from Canada, who was not into new age at all, who was not into esoterics at all, who was not into meditation at all, who just escaped his life in Canada and lived in Ibiza as a homeless guy, who did not care for anything. He just wanted to be left alone. And just one day in January, when a lot of things were happening astrologically, 1987, he was coming back home to his cabin with his dog, and he saw this light. I mean, this is the legend, but Honestly, you have a
Wow.
right, you have a choice to believe this legend or not. And the legend goes that he heard this voice who said, "It is time, sit down and write." So for 8 days and 8 nights,
I
he was
believe it.
yeah, he was not channeling this information. He was getting a download because nobody asked him whether he
Mm.
wanted or not. So for 8 days and 8 nights, the dog was sitting next to him and he was just writing and creating these graphs and charts. And when he came out of it, he had no idea what came to him. He didn't know what to do with it actually because
Mm.
he was not into astrology or anything. So
Yeah.
there were few people who helped him to put all his notes into a system which became human design. Yeah.
Wow, that is so fascinating. This
Yeah.
really, stuff like this really fascinates me. I believe that that's possible because
I
a lot
also
of the
believe.
things
Yeah.
that come to me, especially in my work, I'll just be minding my own business and then I'll be like, okay, this is how I think you heal or unlock this particular money block. And I'll just hear it and I'll see it, and it will be so clear as day to me as to how
Exactly.
trauma works in the body and how behaviors are then impacted by certain things. It's just like, yeah,
Absolutely.
the ether really has voices and guidance. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I remember when I started doing the readings, some certain specific information would come to me. I was like, all of a sudden, I would ask my client, "Did you check your teeth? You have to go to the dentist." And the client would be like, "How the hell do you know?"
Wow.
I was asking my teacher, my human design teacher, which is a separate story. I said, "What is this? I like, should I trust it? Because these things that I come in about the people's charts, I did not read about it." I said in the
Yes.
textbook that you gave me, we didn't discuss it, so I'm afraid. He said,
Mm.
and he was the one who actually pushed me towards this work. And
Wow.
he said, "This is your design. This is how
Mm.
you're supposed to do it." And little by little, I started trusting this.
Oh, wow. Okay. This is so
Yeah.
fascinating. So then you get someone's birthday, then you go into this
Yeah.
website, you get the chart, and then
You
what's
get the
next?
chart, and then you get the chart in a matter of seconds, basically. And this chart, with all these numbers, with everything which you've seen, is your blueprint. We call it a
Mm.
blueprint to your, not to your life. You can say it to your life, but because the life human design says whatever you choose it to be. It's the
Mm.
blueprint to who you are,
Mm.
and it has everything there. It's like the first time when I found out about myself, honestly, I was crying. I was like, nothing is wrong with me. And I was trying to change something which I felt that something is wrong with me. And you start this the only true journey for me of falling in love with yourself for the first time. And that was mind blowing for me. When you find out these things about yourself, when you start using them in life, because human design is not just learning about yourself, it's an experiment. You don't
Yes.
everything you learn about yourself for word. You don't believe it. You take it into practice immediately. So
Yes.
you leave your design, we call it, without taking time off. And only
Yes. Yes, I get that feeling because when you sent through the clip, guys, so Amara records everything for you so that you can hear it and you can listen to it. So when you sent through the recording for me, and you're explaining how I am in relationships, and that like I'm not the kind of person that will ever know that this is the person for me that I'm gonna be with. Like I'm always like, uh, so when you explain that you're always unsure and uncertain and not just, you never feel the need to just be like, yeah, I'm going to commit to this person. So you need to, when you meet someone and you feel like it could work, you need to actively be aware of that and then make the decision to commit. I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm never going to be that person that's going to be like, oh, I know for sure. I'll always be like, yeah, like So I was like, oh my God, she just described me and how you described how I relationship, right? I was like, oh my gosh, I literally have, okay, this is just who I am, I'm just
Yeah,
not, that's why, because I was like, I could never understand why is it that some people have been drawing their bridal wedding dresses from the time they were young or like planning their perfect wedding. And I've always been like, no, fam, no. Like I have to figure out how to not do this. And then when you explained that, I was like, makes a lot of sense. So this is gonna, for me, because of my personality type and who I am, I now understand that, okay, this is just me and it's got nothing to do with the other person. Because you really explained that. You were
absolutely.
like, this has nothing to do with the other person. It's always gonna be because of who you are, you know?
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, damn, that makes things a little harder because now I have to look at myself and be like, oh, yeah. But that was really, really interesting because I used to think I've just got deep commitment issues, you know?
Mm.
And it's like, no, this is just work with it. So, okay, guys, so I just shared a little bit of what came through for me. So now you have the chart and then you're reading the chart. And then the first
Yeah,
thing that you do is you then decide the type of person that a person, like the
yes,
type of human design.
yes.
I don't know what you guys call it, but there's a
Yeah, basically, the first thing you learn
type.
about yourself is what is your type of personality. Not
Yes.
personality, but the type in human design.
Yeah.
So there are 5 types. So we are all divided into 5 types, which is manifestors,
Mhm.
generators, manifesting generators, projectors, and reflectors. So
Yeah.
the first aha moment comes through this when you find out that
Yes.
the whole world is wired to become like manifestors, and manifestors are go-getters, do this, become this, and
Yes.
but the thing is only 8% of the world population are manifestors, and the majority, the 70%, are generators and manifesting generators, and these are the people who
And
should
then what about
never
the
follow this
projectors
side,
and the
and they're
reflectors and
completely different. So
okay,
projectors and
so
reflectors, yeah, they are people who were pushed right now, like in their non-strategy theme. Basically, they were pushed to be very energetic people. Like you have to exercise, you have to do this, and these people came to guide other people's energies, not
mm,
be physically active. These people, like if I would, for example, gather a team um, for myself, I would
mm,
look at their chart and I would know who to put where, in which role. And this
ah,
is how the mind-blowing work of a team can work when you know what energy level has the person, what their best energy can be directed to. Like
mm,
if you take the energy-wise, for example, president. Let's take a
yes.
president of the country. So if the president of the country is a manifester, this will be a person who just comes into the audience and he just influences others through their appearance. So examples, they also influence others by their voice, by their speech.
Mm,
Examples, Adolf Hitler, you can hate his guts all you want, but people were just listening and following him blindly. So this is an example when manifestors' energies goes through
to the
the shadow side,
shadow.
but
Ah.
nevertheless
So what I'm
strong.
hearing is like a lot of like the world leaders, like I'm thinking your Martin Luther Kings, your Nelson Mandelas, all
Mm,
those people, they are the manifestors. They are the ones
no,
that are no, they're
no.
not.
So
Okay.
this is what I'm getting to. This is what I'm trying to explain right now. I'm going to go through every type to show what kind of president this person will be.
Okay. Okay.
Also, a manifestor example of a president is Vladimir Putin, our president. I mean, you can see this is the person, this is the influence which reaches the whole world.
Okay.
Another example, human design founder, the guy, this Canadian guy, Ra Uru, his name, he was a manifestor. His
Okay.
influence spread human design all over the world. So then if I take a generator president, this is a person who loves his job. This is a president who's going to work along with his ministers. If the ministers are working in the field, he's going to be doing the same work because he has so much physical energy that he has to get it out of his system. And the incredible thing is he has to love the job. It has to give him satisfaction. And the funny part is, Bill Clinton is a generator. So recently I came across his quote. He said, and his words, he said, "I don't think anybody ever loved this job presidency as I did."
Wow.
And this is a quote of a generator president.
Okay.
That's how accurate
So generators are the people that love to work.
Yes. And people are drawn to them because they are so lovable, they are so warm, they are this generator's energy is humming around them, These people are very very energetic, very fuzzy, like physically. And Bill Clinton was loved.
Yes.
He was
So
loved by
people love them for real. Okay, so but manifestors, they don't have to be loved, because some of the manifestors you mentioned are very divisive. I'm like,
they don't have to be loved. Manifestors are not about that. Manifestors are their aura is very closed. Their aura, this is an aura of a king, and the king's aura has to be closed. Nobody should be able to approach him too close.
Yeah.
They are not for that.
Then what is their mission on earth?
Their mission on earth is to catalyze action in other people, because if a manifestor is in the group, people start moving. People start doing something. People start getting out of their procrastination,
Oh, wow.
So they do things. Yeah.
Just by being present.
Just by being present. They are here to delegate, to influence, to catalyze other people's actions, and to push other people's buttons as well.
I love that. To push other people's buttons. And from what I'm understanding about, and I guess it's the same for everyone, but manifestors can push buttons from the shadow side and from the golden shadow side, right? So like when they are...
Absolutely.
Wow, this is crazy. Wow. So, because when you said manifestor, and I think everybody's going to resonate with this, I started thinking law of attraction manifestation, So that is what I was thinking, that, it means that you can easily manifest things and you can attract things with ease. Does it also apply or not at all?
Yes and no. Because yes, manifestors, they do manifest, they do initiate a lot of things.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is every single type can manifest things if they do it according to their strategy. Because manifestor, they manifest in the way that they decide things to happen, they make it happen.
Yes.
If they follow their strategy. And each type has its own strategy.
Oh, wow. So each type has its own strategy.
Happy, wealthy, and everything.
Okay, so I'm going to bring it back to the business element. So let's talk about entrepreneurs. I know you wanted to do the president, but I think that most of us won't resonate with presidents, right? So guys, we're going to just bring it down a notch. So if I'm saying I'm starting my small business, and let's say, which I'm not, I'm a generator. So if you are let's say I'm a manifestor and I'm starting my small business, what would be the best, I guess, strategy for a manifestor to take if they just like, I have no freaking clue where to start,
Okay. So to manifestors, I would give the following advice. First of all, you are the initiator. You are not the doer of every step of the way in the business. You are the initiator, and you will not be able as a manifestor to choose the right people for your business. because everybody
Wow.
annoys manifestors because they are so speedy. Like my teacher calls them Maserati, you know, this is a Maserati car, and they're
Wow.
so speedy. The rest of the population is too slow for them, so they can do things much better. That's why they don't like to delegate. But what they
Wow.
have to learn is that if they're doing business, they have to invite somebody who will help to fuel the people that they are choosing for the team. That's the first thing.
Mm.
Second of all, their strategy, the manifesto strategy, is very different from others because it is made up. It is a fake strategy. And what do I mean by this? Manifestors, if they want to live a happy life, they have to pretend a little bit. They have to basically play a role, and I'll explain in a minute.
Wow.
Because manifestors, they are meant to do things from point A to point Z, like they get a straight line. But they
Wow.
would get the straight line if they would be living alone on Earth, and they're not alone. Because the
Yes.
92% of the world's population is not manifestors. So
Yes.
their strategy is they have to inform other people about what they are doing.
Mm.
Inform. And it doesn't come naturally to them, because to other people, their strategy comes natural. When you teach them, they're like, oh my God, yeah, I know. This is what I'm using, but I
Yeah.
didn't use it consciously. But here,
Yes.
you have to switch on the awareness all the time,
Mm.
and you have to inform even if it pisses you off.
Yes.
Like, for example, you are a manifestor who works in an office, and you say, okay, I have a month vacation, so I'm going to somewhere, and they just flee. They don't tell their boss or anything. But
I
you
why
understand that you're
that
gonna get
sounds a
fired, right?
little like me, but
Well, you have been your own boss for a long time.
right? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can see that if you're a manifester, and I can see what you're saying, because manifestors are out there and they know their strategy, they know what to do. So when they hire people, it's really, really difficult for them to say, do this, do that, because they're the type that believe that they can do things better. But you're only one person, right? So you
But
can't
they
do
also don't
everything.
feel others. They also don't feel others aura to aura, because their aura is closed.
Oh, wow. That
Yeah.
is, so they just not people.
They are not, but they can pretend. Like Ra
Ah,
Uruhu, who was actually manifestor, he shared some really deepest insights about that, because his wife and 3 kids are generators.
yeah.
And he said, I love them dearly, but 10 minutes with them is enough for me, because, and they know it. So he said, I was feeling very lonely, and I was feeling very happy that I was alone, actually. But since I had a family and I have this job, spreading human design across the planet, he said, I started playing a role that sometimes I can be nice, sometimes I can be loving, and sometimes I can play a nice, generous king. And he said, when I started doing that, when I started informing others, these people stopped creating obstacles for me. So this is what happens when manifestor does the following the strategy. The whole world stops blocking his road,
Yeah,
and
because
he
they
actually
are, no offense to
helpers.
manifestors, but they sound like challenging humans.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they are the kings and the rulers of the past, and they want to be in peace. That's all they actually want. And in my surrounding, I have
Wow.
quite a few manifestors, surprisingly, and they are
Wow.
incredible. I mean, you can immediately notice a manifestor who enters the room packed with people. It's like a light bulb.
Wow. Wow.
And they are very interesting people. They make their opinion about a person in a matter of seconds. It doesn't matter if this opinion is true or not, but they, in a matter of seconds, it's very interesting. They're very interesting people. You just, this is not the person you would go to on a mission and expect that this person will hold your hand when you are falling from the mountain, you know, because the weak has to die. That's what usually.
That's the strat. Oh my God. Okay, this is starting to make a lot of sense as to why businesses have evolved the way they have over time
Yeah.
because of like that only the strong shall survive mentality. If they are being run by manifestors, and I can see what you're saying, it's like I can see how some entrepreneurs are those types, right? They like my way or the highway. Like you're here to win or you're out.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. But I guess that's who they are. Oh my gosh, like that is crazy. Okay. Guys, like I don't know about manifestors, hey, like I can truly say like I'm starting to get the personality type that Amara is describing, and I can say I've not been a fan of most.
But the surprising thing is a lot of people are pretending to be manifestors and they are not manifestors, but they're type. So because people who are not living their design, who are not living their true path, you cannot feel if they're manifestors. I mean, you can look at their chart, you can see that they've been living a manifestor's life.
Yeah.
And they've made a great effort to be a manifestor, right? But they are not.
Because what you've just described is the idea of how we see, like, that's how leadership in the old way has been described. You know, the leader that is like, I only want people who are like at the top of their game around me. I make decisions. I do this. It's all I, because of the closed aura. And it's always been coming like it's that old school thing of thinking that like then you are revered and that's what like the top business people are, that's who the top leaders are, right? And it's like who, because as you're talking about manifestors, I get it, because I'm like, okay, so a manifestor type would have a whole different thing. They're not out here to try and save humanity. They're not about to be throwing themselves like they're not gonna be like, okay, I know humanity is at the end of its theta and like these systems are broken and I'm willing to be the one to fix it even at my own discomfort. No. I get it. I know this type, and I think we all
can
get
give
this
you
type.
3 examples of manifestors right now, and one of the examples might blow your mind, specifically yours.
Who?
So why manifestors? Why I'm saying they're incredible? Like I have a friend manifestor. I'll start with this. So every time when we meet in Moscow, since I know she's a manifestor, I know that she's gonna choose a restaurant. We're gonna have food. She's gonna choose the route we're gonna walk. She's gonna choose the time our meeting will finish. But because I accepted this, because I know her, she's not into human design, but I know her human design. When I relax into that and I accept that and I let her do these things, our meetings are incredibly fun. Because I don't resist, I don't create obstacles for her, because I know she's gonna do her things anyway. And I know that she's choosing an incredible restaurant. I know that I'm gonna enjoy food there. I know I'm gonna enjoy the route we're gonna walk in, and I just let her make this decision. So it's incredible. This is one example. Another example, recently I had a partner who was a manifestor, and I've known him for many years, and I would tell him like, you are not like any manifestor I know. I said, he was very warm, he was very kind, he was actually his non-self, basically. All this time, he was not his own self. And I got fooled by this, because when he offered our collaboration, I said yes, because I was excited. Finally, Manifestor said, let's do it. But that switched off my awareness. because he dumped our project in the day of a start, in the day of a launch.
Oh
The
my
day we were
gosh.
supposed to launch, yes. And at first, obviously, I was mad. I stopped communicating with him. And just later on, I had this aha moment when I was laughing so much. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. I understand why. It's not his fault. It's not that he was bad. He was not bad. He is not bad.
He was just
It
being
was
true to
me.
himself.
Exactly. He
He
was
was being true to
finally
himself.
himself. Because when he dumped the project, it was not personal to him.
Yeah.
He did not want to hurt me,
Yeah.
but he finally, his personality caught up with him because he was making a lot of compromises on the way. And I was
Yeah.
like, he's not a manifestor. Maybe his date is wrong.
His personality caught up with him. I like that. Because the truth is that, like, all our personalities catch up with us.
Yes.
And then, like, people will say, but this person was like this, and then they changed. Okay, no, I so get this. Hey, like, who, this is so fascinating. And then
Yeah.
generators, who are
No,
generators?
the last example that I want
Oh,
to give you
sorry.
without saying example, which will blow your mind, is that Mangala, our dear Mangala, she's a manifester.
No way.
And I'll tell you why she's this incredible human being. You know, she is a manifester who
Okay,
up,
I can see it
yeah,
operating from the golden shadow. Okay, I can totally see it because the
yeah,
mandala just draws people to her.
she
Like she
does.
just sits down
Yeah,
and she goes, I want this to happen. And then, like, everything
yes,
just happens.
yeah,
I have observed it
yeah,
constantly over the years.
yeah. So when she does her organic garden and everything, she does it seriously out of love. And she was just lucky to get that love up front in her nature.
Mm,
Because the manifestors are people, they cannot pretend. And this is what I love about them. This is like when they pretend, things break loose for them and things break loose for other people around them.
yeah.
And when Mangala does the things she like, her influence, her, even when she told me once, I talk to the sun, and this is manifestor is a male energy.
Yes, yes, no, she's very, very clear on that. She was telling me
Yeah,
when on Saturday, she was saying to me, she's learning how to dance. Like, one of the women, Panchama, is trying to teach her how to dance. And she's like, oh my God, it's so feminine, but I'm trying to master the feminine in me. I just laughed.
yeah. It's like if you want to see the best example of manifestors, everybody who is listening, you have to go to Sri Lanka to Mangala Fletcher's organic home, because she's the beautiful manifestation of what manifestor in their gift side can be.
But her
She is.
aura is not closed.
Oh, it is closed. Your aura is open. You are a generator. So
Huh.
whatever you are feeling is through her, with her, you are feeling your own aura because it comes back to you. It bounces
Wow.
back to you. So you, next to manifestors, generators feel their own aura because it goes back to them.
This is so... Okay, when you're saying this, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of things that, because I know Mangala and we have a lot of deep conversations. Okay, I can
Yeah,
see she's a manifester. Like what you just
yeah,
said about
yeah,
certain things, because she can be very decisive with people. And like she has a
absolutely.
very, very clear boundaries. I think I'm one of the few people that she has, like, she's very like, do whatever, welcome into my
Yeah,
space.
yes,
Like, but yeah, I have seen, and I forget that because I have never,
yeah,
she's never been like that with me, you know? So,
yeah,
but as you're talking, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
yeah, okay, no, I have seen her behave in that very royal manner. It's
yeah.
just that
She is royal. She is
it's
for sure
never
royal.
directed at me.
Yeah. But that's the thing. When I met Mangala, she embraced me, and I also experienced this love I mean, she's one of those people that I love and I will love forever. She also accepted me like that. But
Yeah.
that's the thing with manifestors. They only they decide who they accept.
Oh my
The other person
God.
cannot influence them. It's like impossible. Don't even
No,
try
I
to be
have
liked by
seen
a
it.
manifestor.
Like I
Yeah,
have seen it. There are some, yeah, no, I know, because there are certain people
yeah,
where she'll be like, no. Like, I'm like,
yeah,
this
yeah.
person is so nice. Like, what's going on?
But if they like you, they like you. That's the person.
Wow.
This person doesn't even try to be liked themselves. Like manifestors, they don't do that. But if this person likes you, this person likes you. That's it. That's so
This is
genuine.
so fascinating because I have seen how Mangala does business. And
Yeah.
you are so right. Oh my gosh, the penny drops. Wow. Okay. So, guys, yeah, if you want to see a manifesto and how someone like runs things and makes things happen just by their energy alone and existing, yeah, Mangala is the best. She is really the best example for this. Okay.
Yeah.
So, that
Yeah.
is wow. And I know like the students that are listening to this are going to get it because when I do retreats in Sri Lanka, she's with us and they observe. It's also funny because she calls every single day, like twice or three times a day, if she's not part of the retreat. And she'll say to me, like she says to Chatu, the driver, she's like, you are my eyes and ears for whatever is going on at that retreat. So we know like she gets daily reports.
It's
She's just
incredible.
like, it's funny. I love it though.
Yeah.
So generators,
Okay, let's go
how
to
do
generators.
generators run businesses and make
Yeah.
things happen, like create that
Yeah.
income?
You know, the generators, the whole world is so frustrated because the poor generators do not do what they're supposed to do. And their strategy is the easiest in life. But the thing is, the past is still there in the genetic level. You know, the generators used to be slaves in the past. So it's 70% of the world's population. And I'll explain you why. Like I'm a manifesting generator, I'm a blend.
Okay.
We'll get into that as well. So
Yeah.
the generators, because the incredible amount of energy that they have,
Yeah.
only generators with this small sleep and with this little food could work for days with non-stop, because this is how much energy they have. And the thing is, generators, they are this energy is sought by other people. Everybody wants the
People
energy.
want, I remember you
Yeah,
telling me this about
yeah,
generator energy. The minute you told me that, I put up high freaking boundaries because I was like, oh my gosh, because what you were saying is that, like, because you've got so much energy and because you can work and make things happen, and because what generators do, from what I understood from the reading,
yeah,
is that they take what is up in the air and then they make it concrete and make it, this is what it is, you know, they, because they can work and
yeah,
make it happen. And so people want to
yeah,
use that, they want to
yeah.
manipulate it, they want to
They do.
control it. Oh, it's icky, but
But
yeah.
we live in a fascinating time, because this is the time of generators. We're living in the times of generators. And the thing is, everything you see living, breathing around is because of the generators' energy.
Mm,
All the trees, the plants, the air
wow.
that everybody is breathing, it's because of the generators. And the thing is,
Yeah.
you don't even need to put up the walls as long as you follow your strategy, because generators have to use up their daily amount of energy on daily basis.
Yeah,
They have
but
to.
I think what it
Yeah.
is that because when people can see that someone is a generator and they can work
Mhm.
and implement things and make them come to the real world, what is a
Yeah.
danger with based on people that have like still the old conditioning and past programs, is
Yeah.
instead of figuring out how do we pay generators and thank them and just like reward them accordingly, like pay them accordingly for all this energy. They figure sometimes what's happened in the past is that, oh, we're just going to manually take that energy and force it and oppress people to work and keep
Yeah.
outputting, right? So that like
Yeah.
keep producing and keep making things happen without actually
Yeah.
rewarding them, which also is exhausting for generators because
It
they have
used to be
like,
happening. Yeah. In
yeah,
the past,
because,
it used to be happening. Yeah.
and even now, because I think that a lot of people, it's just like, wow, this is what we do. Because I think when I'm thinking of it, like, that's how most of the corporate system is designed, right? Is that it's designed to utilize generator energy from what I
Yeah.
can see, right?
Yeah.
It's like, how do we
Yeah.
keep the generators just working and utilizing their
Yeah.
energies?
And the funny thing is, for generators, if they follow their strategy,
Which is?
they come out of the wheel, which is responding to what life offers them through their belly. So when we say like I feel it in my gut, this is a phrase only for generators.
Mm,
Nobody else, because nobody else has the feelings in their gut.
seriously.
Only, yes, it's only
That,
generator, because
this
generators
doesn't make
feel
sense because
energy.
we're all teaching people to feel into their gut.
All people do not feel it. In human design, everybody feel it in different parts of the body.
So a manifester, let me guess, a manifester feels it in their head. Probably.
Manifestors, ah, sorry. So
Yeah, that's fine.
manifestors, there are different kinds of manifestors. There are emotional manifestors. This is a one different picture. There are splenic manifestors, and this is a completely different picture. There are
Ah,
heart manifestors. These are different manifestors. So there
ah,
are three different kinds. So they feel it differently. Then when it
ah,
comes to generators, there is sacral generators, which is gut. And then there is emotional generators, which is different. It's still gut, but it's a different process.
ah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree with you because when you did the reading, you're like, just do things that resonate with your gut. I was like, yeah, I've been doing that forever. Like, like this is the only
Yeah.
way to live. Like,
Yeah.
so, but then we live in a world where we're taught to disregard our gut. And so I think that's why most generators like end
Yeah.
up working, giving their energy, and then your energy gets depleted, right? You're a
Yeah.
generator, but you're
Exactly.
working in the wrong job, like you said, because you've
Exactly.
ignored your gut. And so you find
Yeah.
yourself in this wrong job. And instead, and you're like, but I could work. Then why is it that sometimes I can work 8 hours nonstop and other
Mm,
times I can do 2 hours and feel so exhausted because you're going against your gut? I like
exactly.
that.
And the incredible thing is that um, when you have to say yes to something, like the energy has to come out, right?
Yes.
So if it doesn't come out, the generator's energy goes down and the generators become very like lifeless.
Mm.
So it has the other coin. There's so much energy that if it is not used,
Yeah.
so you have two ways: the other people will use it, or you're gonna feel depleted, and the less you use it, the less energy you have.
Wow. This
Yeah.
is so intense. This is wow.
Yeah.
So, actually, as a generator, if you are not in your truth or following your gut, you can actually go the opposite direction of depleted
Yeah.
energy.
Yes.
Holy moly. That's
Yeah.
insane. So you have all this energy, but because you're, oh my, this explains so much. This explains a
Yeah.
lot. Because I have been in situations where I was like, why is it that like I can work like crazy on certain things and not sleep, And then certain things, it's like, this is so easy, but like my entire being is at a no with it. And it will take me like hours to do the simplest thing. and I'll
Yeah.
have and then I'll be so exhausted afterwards. This
Yeah.
is really, really powerful. And as entrepreneurs, so this is powerful, I think, for
Mm-hmm.
generators going into the entrepreneur space, because
Yeah.
guys, if you're going into a business that you've got to say no to and you're a generator, you're basically screwed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely. You screw
like
the whole business.
there's nothing that's gonna happen there, right?
And
Who?
the biggest conditioning for generators is to make decisions with their mind. The generators are, their mind is actually their enemy
I
for generators,
agree. I agree.
because the mind is the greatest tool for certain things like analyzing the data,
Mm,
remembering things, and many, many other things. But it is not there to say yes to projects. It is not for that.
yeah.
And the
Yeah.
generators are just, the biggest condition for them is the mind. So that's why it's like completely disregarding the gut.
Mm,
And following the gut, the thing with the gut is the very interesting thing. Uh, the mind can explain why you say yes to certain things, right? Like
yeah.
somebody offered me this great deal and my mind says yes, because if I don't buy it here, I will not get it anywhere, and this is the last chance,
Yeah.
blah blah. So this is the mind. But when the
Yes.
gut says yes, the gut is kind of
Yes.
stupid. The gut does not give you explanations why the yes is a
Yeah.
yes and why the no is a yes, because it is not awareness centered.
Yes.
And here comes the trust. Because
Mm,
I've been living my design since 2012, and boy, let me tell you, it has not been easy to get that trust myself at first. Because
yeah.
I've been I mean, I got these 2 higher degree diplomas. My mind was so huge. My plan was to become a professor at American University, and
Wow.
I was making my mind bigger and my gut
Yes.
smaller, basically. But the gut
Yes.
is a completely a process which you have to trust. And in human design sessions, I teach people specifically how to listen to your gut, because it's a physical feeling. It is not just a spiritual feeling. It's
Yes. Definitely.
physical.
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally
And
agree.
that's the biggest condition. So when it comes to entrepreneurship, the generator, first of all, has to love the thing they do.
Hmm.
Manifestors don't have to.
Yeah.
Projectors don't have to. Reflectors
Wow.
don't have to. Generators have to get satisfaction. So this is the
Yes.
word for them,
Yes.
satisfaction. Like this, this song, I can get no satisfaction.
Yeah, I get
That's the
it, because
generator's
I
motto.
always say, like, it doesn't feel like I'm working with wealthy money. Like I'll
Yeah,
be like in the student group answering questions, and I'm just like, I'm going, and I'm like,
exactly.
and people will be like, Van, you just wake up and you do live videos, and I'm like, no, this is easy, this is ease. But that's the thing.
Yeah,
And I've also learned, does
that's
it
the
also
thing.
apply to gut feelings with who you work with? Because what
Oh
I've
yeah,
seen is, when I try to do business with people that my gut has said hell no to, nothing moves forward. In fact, it just introduces insanity to the mix, you know?
yeah.
And be like, when I'm like, I don't know why, but my gut is telling me to hire. This is how I've always hired people. And I've often had the most incredible team, especially with wealthy money when I started to do that. I'll be like, I have this gut feeling to hire this person for this, even though they have no experience. And it often
Hmm.
just turns out to be the best decision. And here's the thing, what I've noticed is that who I'm working with, other people may not get the same exact results in that regard
Exactly,
from those people in that
exactly.
way. And other people may get even better results than me. And it's just like, I can't explain it, but I get it when you say it's the God, because it has never made sense to me. But it has, because it's worked so often now compared to when I
Hmm.
first started my first company and I was following what I'd been taught in my MBA with the business plan, the mind,
Hmm.
disaster zone.
Disaster, absolutely. I can relate to this. I've been following my gut for a while, and the things it says no to sometimes just makes me scream, because, oh my God, I wanted something specific. Like recently, before this pandemic situation started, I was in India,
Yeah.
and I was in Osho
Yeah.
meditation resort, and
Yes.
there was one therapist which we wanted to work together for 3 years,
Yeah.
and we couldn't find an opportunity. So she was from Brazil, and finally she has this incredible 7-day tantra course, which costs
Wow.
a lot of money. So I'm invited there to
Yeah.
work with her.
Yeah.
So my mind jumps. I want to jump into the swimming pool out of excitement, but my gut is like, no. I
Yeah.
almost cried, seriously. When the gut says no to something, that means that there will be no energy for this.
I
So I
love
had to say
what you've
no. But
said.
what happened?
Hey.
Yeah, but what happened
Yes.
afterwards was mind blowing, actually. I said no. Everybody thought I was crazy. I came back home during pandemic a month after, and somebody, a third party from a different country, connected me and her for a work together online.
Wow.
And I mean, this is how it works in a nutshell.
This is it. Like,
No
and I
explanation why.
get it.
Yeah,
Wow, this is so, so, so powerful. I love
yeah,
what you've just said. And also the other thing that I know we're spending a lot of time on generators, guys, and on this, but like once I understood certain things, it kind of like light bulb moment came on. Like what you said
yeah,
about generators have a lot of energy. If a generator, what you told me was like, as a generator, if you are going to rest and take time out, you need to have spent a lot of your energy for the day, you know?
yeah,
So it has to be either through physical stuff, through work, through all that. Yeah. And of course, most generators are just completely tired and exhausted because they are not on their path, which is a
exactly.
whole other thing. So if you're a generator that's extremely exhausted, you have to start
Yeah,
listening to your gut, guys, which
yep.
is hard and scary. So manifesting generators, who are they and
So
what do they do?
manifesting generators, yes, this is a blend of two types, manifestors and generators.
Yeah.
But they have to remember that first they are generators,
Mm,
and only then they are manifestors. And
yes.
the thing is, for them, the non-self for them tells them to be manifestors,
Yeah.
and that's their biggest trouble. Otherwise, there would be no trouble, because they are on one hand they have this fuzzy warm energy like generators. They're
Yes.
always embracing in taking everything, and people want to be around them, and they're these light bulbs, and in a different way, not like manifestors, but in a very different, incredible way.
Yeah.
But manifesting generators, they have this double stored aura, basically.
Mm,
They can be closed and they can be very open. So they
mm,
have this um, there's this car analogy. You have to
yes.
shift the gears, basically, with manifesting
Yes.
generator from one to another. But
Mm,
first you have to respond from the gut as well. They can be
yes.
from the gut or from the emotions, depending on the type of manifesting generator.
Yeah.
And also, when they say yes to something, they have to double check, because they have to double check twice.
Oh.
Generators, when they say yes to something, the energy generators energy start already working, and it has to
Mm,
follow through.
yes.
For manifesting generators, they have an opportunity to double check, and there are ways
Mm,
that I'm teaching how to do that, because it's very important, and it saves manifesting generators a lot of wasted energy. And
wow.
they're also very speedy like manifestors. They're also influential like manifestors, but they are generators first. So this is very
Yes.
important for them to remember. So this is in a
Yes.
nutshell.
Yes.
So in a entrepreneurship in a group, I would tell them they can initiate, they can make a startup like manifestors only if they got a response, if they responded to something. And the response
Yes.
also is a specific process, which is like takes a very long time to explain. But
Wow.
first they have to respond to life like generators, and then they can manifest from that point onward, like a manifestor.
Interesting. Interesting. Like, I love that. Okay. And then projectors, who are they?
Projectors, I personally call them gray cardinals, you know. So, you know, if manifestors are kings and queens, no,
Yes.
manifestors are kings and kings, no queens there. Then the projectors are the cardinals who actually ran the whole country, but behind the scenes.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah. So obviously there are different types of projectors.
Yes.
But projectors are they are non-energy type.
They non-energy. What does that mean?
They are non-energy type. It doesn't mean that they don't have energy. It means that they don't have generators energy.
Yes.
And they are not meant to have it. They do not need it. They are here, like generator, for example, they have this whole amount of energy that a lot of times they don't know where to put, and they slave away for others.
Yeah,
But
no, that is like a no, guys, as generators, remember that.
And the thing is, with projectors, they recognize the generator's energy and they know how to steer it in the right direction. So if you can collaborate in the right way with a projector, this tandem generator projector is incredible tandem.
Wow.
Yeah.
So walk me through, because I think I have an idea. Like, I'm having a feeling that I know a few projectors. So a projector would be the type that would come in and they would figure out this person can be best suited in this particular work environment. If I put this person here and I put this person here, then they can actually do the best job possible.
Absolutely. So the projector can tune into the person, and they're like X-ray machine. They know that this energy should be best at. So in the group of entrepreneurs, I would put the projector into HR, finding the right team.
Yes, because they can sense things. And that's interesting because, that is an actual skill. Because I find that many people just, like, I don't know, maybe I've got just a tad bit of projector energy because I can always sense where people should be in order to get the best results. But I've noticed that people just don't have that sense. And I'm always like, really? You just can't tell
you
that,
have
like,
that sense from different places. You have that sense not like a projector. You have you can have that sense from a different source that you take it.
That's interesting. So what source could that be? Just like intuition,
I need to look at your chart again to say, but I could exactly pinpoint that source.
Yeah, because it's something that, like, I've realized that over time, it's one of the things that it's like, I don't want to say it's a skill because I think of it as more of a gift. It's like I can sense. And like, even with people, like my clients always say it's freaky. Like, I can almost sense how to connect people to say, go have tea together and have this discussion. And like, often people get business from that. Like, I have gotten people, set up people for marriage. Like, some of my friends are married because I'll meet like one that time and one another time, and I'll be like, no, you have a similar energy, you guys should date. You know, it's kind of crazy. Like, I don't know how or why, but I can sense it. Like, people carry an energy around with them, and like, everyone has a very specific vibrational energy, and you can sense when you're around someone that, oh, this energy is the same type of energy as this person, and if these people connected for business, it may work, or if they connected for romance, it will work. I don't know, like, I can tell.
I think you couple of times you use the phrase "I sense it." I think it's through your spleen, because I think, if I remember correctly, your spleen is defined in your chart.
Yes.
And when spleen is defined, that's a person who smells opportunities, who hears the right things, even though people say this word and they hear the word behind the word.
I do. That's
Yeah.
like literally the
Yeah.
trick behind my coaching. Like a lot of my
Yeah.
clients will say, I just said this one sentence and like that becomes the entire coaching session. I'm like,
Yeah.
but that sentence had a particular energy behind it. And that's how I knew that that's where
Yeah.
the block is. Oh, that is so fascinating. Okay, I need to go back, guys, and listen to the
You're
chart
reading.
again and my reading. Wow, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
And so we've been going on about the types. I just want to go to the last one, and then we're going to get into the
Yeah.
interesting things like how you can see
Yeah.
in the chart the defined things like the spleen, the heart, the this.
Yeah.
Reflectors, who are they?
Reflector. Oh, this is the rarest type. This is the rarest type. It's less than 1% of the world's population. And these
Wow.
people in the past, they used to be the sages who used to live in the caves, and people would just look for them and go just to be in their presence,
Wow.
just to be there. And the best example that I can think of a reflector is the, Amaji, the hugging saint.
Oh, yes, in India, where she hugs
Yeah,
you and you feel
yeah,
so much better about life.
yeah. So she's a reflector. Can
Wow.
you just hold on?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah. Просто зарежем, хорошо? Yeah, so come back.
Oh, actually, crazy. I switched off my video. I was trying to mute you. Why?
Mm,
It didn't go the way that I planned.
yeah.
Okay, so reflectors.
So reflectors, they basically are the stages. I call them the barometer of the society, because if you
Ah,
want to know if you are going your true path, you just have to be in their presence, and you get a complete reflection of what you are in that moment. So
mm,
if you feel very comfortable and loving and good and all these incredible feelings, you know what it means. But if you don't feel
yeah.
good, that means there needs a course correction.
Oh,
So this is in a
wow.
nutshell. Yeah.
So that's easy. I don't like, I guess, like as entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
they would work on, they don't change the energy, they just reflect who you are.
They
That seems
reflect
like
who
a
you
hard
are.
life. Like, I mean,
The thing is, no, this is a hard life if you try to be somebody else. And for
yeah,
everybody, this phrase stands for every single type. If you're trying to be like somebody else, it's very difficult life.
yeah.
What the reflectors do is, they don't just reflect back to you. They double whatever you give them, and they reflect back a double of what you are. This is one thing.
Wow.
So you get like,
That
if
is
you
so powerful.
very powerful.
So if you are an entrepreneur and you are a reflector, if someone is like an incredible creative, your
Yeah,
presence would literally double their creativity.
absolutely. Yeah,
Holy crap. That's like you could like literally, that means that like you can literally make things happen. But then
yeah,
the issue becomes if you then, I think as a reflector, you then have to be so careful of who you let into your space
yes, yes,
because that can turn against you. If like you, I'm
yeah,
just thinking if you have a narcissist in your space and you're in a relationship with them,
mm,
you're going to double the narcissism and it may be directed at you because you're relationshiping with them.
yeah. And the interesting thing about reflectors is that they were given this aura, which is just probing and letting go. Because if they were given aura like generator, they would die after just one day of existence on this planet, Because if they would become forever or for even one day what they're next to,
Yes.
they would not be able to process it all. But the aura
Yes.
that they are given is they're probing, they're trying it on. It's like you're going to costume ball, you try on different
Ah,
clothes. You don't
yeah.
become this costume, you take it
Mm,
back wherever you rented it.
mm.
So this is what you teach reflectors as well. And the reflectors follow a completely different strategy, which is moon strategy. They are the moon people. So
Okay,
they
in
or
a
the
way,
lunar
I don't even know how I understand that, but I'm getting you. It means that they would, just like the moon, they have phases where they do things, where you would work, you would sleep, you would rest and
yeah,
do things. So you would work more with the
yeah,
moon. You wouldn't be around, because I'm thinking if you're reflector, and I'm just thinking of the hiking saint. I keep forgetting her name, and I know that
um,
she can't be around people at all times. She needs a lot of downtime, right? So that would be the moon
but the
strategy.
incredible thing, since Amma is a self-realized person, like when I went for a hug to get from her, I was waiting from early morning till late evening, and she was there all the time. What she learned as a self-realized person, she doesn't even the energy of other people didn't stay in her even for a little bit. It was just passing through her.
Hmm.
This is what a self-realized reflector can do. The energy passes through them, and you basically run on a different fuel, but that fuel doesn't contaminate your body.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is so interesting. Wow. Okay,
Mhm.
so guys, these are the top types in terms of human design. But then Amara does something else. So I was like, okay, great on the generator stuff. And then obviously I could see that the audio had a while to go. So
Yeah.
we're not gonna go in depth on everything else. So this is
Yeah.
just like the first part, which is already fascinating. But then you also do other things
Mm.
based on the chart.
Yeah.
Can you explain
Yeah.
the other readings that the chart can then give you? And I know you
Absolutely.
had one that had numbers for me. That's where the relationship stuff came up with the numbers. Can you
Yeah.
explain that? Because, guys, this is so complicated. When I looked at the chart, I was like, miss me. I don't know what's going on here. Just tell me what this thing says. You know, like,
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
go too
I mean,
deep.
I've studied for a long time. Yeah, and it is everybody is capable of grasping this information. This information is given for even a 5-year-old, so that the 5-year-old can understand. This is how
Wow.
we are taught. Not that only a chosen few has to understand it,
Yeah.
but actually it has to be, and the children grasp it in a matter of seconds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because they're
So,
not trying, they're not judging, right? Because I think that,
and they
like,
are already it. They
they
are
are
already
already
it.
it. Yeah, this is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you tell it, like, it's like telling the moon that it's the moon. Yeah, I already know
Exactly.
that.
Yeah. I'm watching my nephews and niece, and
Yeah.
my two nephews are projectors, and my niece is a generator. They
Yeah.
are already living their design. So what I'm doing, I'm just observing. I'm
Mm.
helping a little bit where I can, and I'm not interfering when I can, because
Mm.
this is the best that you can do for your child.
Is not interfere.
Yes.
Guys, are we hearing this? Just let the human grow into themselves without trying to
Yeah.
control them. Okay, I hear that. So, wow. And then obviously this is just the macro cause, like the macro overlook outlook of
Yeah.
generator, etc. Because the things that make us individuals are all these other things that you read in the chart. Can you please explain what are
Exactly.
these
Yes.
things?
So another thing that we study in human design is what is your non-self theme, which is preventing you basically from living your nature. It is a specific emotion for each type, a specific emotion. Then we go into studying your authority. And your authority means that every single person has a specific decision-making process that you don't need a crystal ball anymore.
Mm.
You don't need to go and ask your friends for an opinion or decision or anything.
Yeah.
There is a specific mechanism of making, according to your chart, how you can make decisions for yourself, which are always 100% right for you.
Mm.
And that is already mind-blowing. Then the next
Oh.
thing we look into is your profile, and this is where the relationship comes in.
Mm.
Profile is basically these two numbers. They are what kind of person you are in relationships, and how do you interact with the world. And this
Yes.
has all the shadow sides, all the gift sides, and basically this is something that you cannot change,
Mm.
but this is something that you can look into, and this is where awareness is the biggest key. here.
Yeah.
And this is where I put together meditation practices specifically for each chart. When I
Okay.
realized that why some people hate meditation is because they don't do the meditation which suits them according to their nature, you know.
Yeah.
I met this manifestor in ashram who was living in the ashram for 4 years trying to calm down his anger. He
Mm.
thought of himself as a bad person, which is just completely wrong. So
Yeah.
he was meditating Vipassana when Vipassana was completely forbidden for him forever. Because this is
Like I
how
feel
people
like
get.
Vipassana is for everybody.
It is for everybody, but on different stages of life.
Mm.
For manifestors, and I do this during online course that I have. Like recently, I was working one-on-one coaching with a manifestor, and
Yeah.
all the practices that she's done, she said the most challenging for me was Vipassana, and
Wow.
I wanted her to take this challenge because the manifestor has to know what the challenge looks like with
Yeah.
awareness, you know.
Yeah.
And amazing how you can, when you pinpoint the right meditation technique for the right, when you look at the chart, the whatever use that they will get from that specific technique will be mind-blowing. Like
Wow.
for other person, they'll have to do like, oh my god, hundreds techniques for hundreds of days, and it will not give them anything but frustration.
Yeah.
But there's one technique, if you choose it according to your type, to your profile, to different things that you want to do in your life,
Yeah.
according to your design, the
Yeah.
result is completely different. And I've experimented this first on me, and when I saw the correlation, that's when I
Wow.
got my
So this
aha
is
moment.
fascinating. Here I am like preaching Vipassana to everybody. And that's fascinating because I've always been like, how can people not like when someone like, oh, but Vipassana doesn't really give me that breakthrough. I'm like, impossible. Vipassana is the one. It is the everything.
Yeah, yeah,
And I love Vipassana. So that's
yeah.
like so interesting.
It is. I mean, I used to dream about going to Vipassana retreat, but now I realize, knowing my chart, knowing myself, my design, I realize that I'm gonna go to Vipassana retreat on my retirement. You know, when I'm
Mm,
probably 80 plus, if I reach that age. And I know
wow.
why. I understand. It's not because Vipassana is bad for me. It's just
Mm.
it's not the time for Vipassana for me.
Yeah, because you did say
Yeah,
it's the path that you are on your journey. It's almost
yeah,
like Vedic astrology, like in Vedic astrology, they explained to me that my entire life path will always be one of spirituality and deep work around spirit, and that the older I get, the deeper my work goes. And I see it, like I'm like, I always feel like, no, I've like this, like I really am grasping this work. And then like I realize I don't know a darn thing. Like the work keeps going deeper and deeper. So they explained to me that that's going to happen. I do have a 7-year period on my chart that allows for me to not worry about spirituality. They're like, I'll still be working on spiritual stuff and personal development, but it's not my top priority. So they gave me the age, and they like, that would be the best time, how they speak, the auspicious time to have kids, because
yeah,
that's
yeah,
just the chart. My chart only has 7 years in it where I am not overly concerned about what is going on in terms of like the spirit and healing and anything. And that's just so that I can just raise kids. I'm like, if I miss that chart, then yeah, it gives me that 7 years foundation. So that's been interesting.
yeah,
And I know you said you could see on the chart about the spleen and the and like all
yeah,
the various organs. So
yeah.
someone's
This
chart
is
can
the next
actually
thing.
show that.
This is the next thing where we go into the energy centers in the each chart, and we go into those energies that are always there with you 24/7.
Mm.
And then there are places where you get conditioned the most, and what to do about them, because we all get conditioned by different things. Like, for example, some people can get conditioned with what they want in life. Can you
Yes.
believe this? Like, they think that they want this, and this is a conditioning.
No, that
Then
makes absolute sense to me. Like, I truly believe, like, I'm going to keep coming back to this, not because I have anything against school and the corporate world, but I think that most of us have been conditioned to believe that we want to go to university, get a job, do these things. But it's like, I'm always like, it's impossible that 7 billion people can follow the same life path. It is impossible that we
yeah,
could all want that. Like 7 billion, I'm like, humans, like 100 humans can barely agree on certain things. And I feel like the
exactly.
pandemic has shown us that we can barely
Yeah,
agree on
yeah,
basic survival for ourselves, forget the rest
yeah.
of humanity, for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. And now you're telling me that somehow we have all agreed to this
Mm-hmm.
structure of how life progresses. That's gotta be conditioning.
Exactly. And we are living in the times when all these institutions are falling down. Actually, human design predicted that there will be pandemic in 2020.
What?
And I've been reading about this a long time ago. But
Wow.
2020 was for me too far, you know? And I was like, oh, well, they predicted the end of the world in 2012. So, blah, blah, blah. But because in 2027, there is a new era which is beginning, which is a completely different era. And I think this is a whole different story. I don't know why I mentioned it, but yeah.
People can contact you for that.
Yeah.
Wow. So this is so fascinating. Amara, you have shared so generously. I realize that I just we taken up so much time, but I also realized that I wasn't even aware of the energy centers and the various ways
Mm-hmm.
in the various points around conditioning that we could work around. So how do people
Yeah.
get hold of you? I know people are sitting here
Mm-hmm.
and are like, I need to figure things out, and this woman could help me. Guys, I will say the reading is incredible, and I'm actually thinking I'm going to go back. I'm going to come to Amara now,
Yeah.
not as a gift, but as a client, because I'm so fascinated by the points in the body. I'm all about the body, right? Like, and
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
into the body.
Body is the most fascinating thing, actually. It just has
Yeah.
the stories that we need to hear.
Exactly. The body never lies. Everything happens in the body. And like you said, like now that I'm hearing, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I want to know more about the spleen thing, because what other gifts am I not tapping into by not understanding this? And how do I work with the spleen and all that? So very, very fascinating. But how
Yeah.
do people get hold of you? How do they work with you?
Yeah.
How do they hire you? What do you have
Mm-hmm.
available in terms of courses? Or do you only do one-on-one?
Yeah, I hope we're gonna do we can create the links and people also can ask me
Oh,
questions. I'll be
yeah,
happy to
definitely.
answer.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I love the interaction with people.
yeah,
And I love that through every person who asks the question, I find out more about human design. Honestly, it's
yes.
like people are incredible. So with each client, with each person just who accidentally came by and asked me a question, it opened a new platform of human design thing. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna post, and I wanted to make a gift to people whoever are listening to your group. Like, I have a special coupon for my online courses,
Oh,
and
wow.
and this is actually, the coupon is very. They can go through the link that I will send you, and you can post it in your notes
Oh,
so
yes,
they
I
can
would be
follow.
happy to.
And there is online course where they can study not only themselves but also their loved ones, which I
Mm.
find personally more fascinating for myself. But of course,
I
they can
want
come
to
for
say I find that fascinating. Okay.
I mean, that transformed my life and my relationship.
Yeah.
It's I cannot even begin to to state
Yeah.
how it transformed and how it keeps transforming. So obviously personal sessions are available as well,
Yeah.
depending on how deep you want to go. I'll post those links as well. I have like a website where I post different um, sometimes writings, you know, I write.
Yeah.
So I have a
Yes.
book, but my books are for now in Russian, but
Okay.
hopefully. But I have a lot of stuff in English as well because I just recently opened online school, which is courses in English.
Oh, that's
So, and I do,
awesome.
yes. So
Yeah.
the coupon links will be for specifically for
The
online courses
English
and
courses. Yeah,
yes,
we love that.
yeah,
Will you give me the link for people to be able, if they want to make a one-on-one booking so that I can send them directly to that?
absolutely. Yes,
Fantastic.
I'll
Yeah.
give you all the links and everything. And everybody, guys, just feel free to post questions to ask me stuff. And the bad question is the question which is not asked, you know. So I'm completely open, and if you find it fascinating and just looking it up, and I'm obviously gonna send the link where you can create your life charts for free, so you can have a look and get your own insights. Because sometimes people just by looking at their chart, they get this feeling, you know.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow, this has been incredible. Amara, thank you. Guys, I'm going to post Amara's link, but Amara, for people that may be watching this on a different platform, like I'm going to post this on Wealthy Money's YouTube channel as well. Do you just want to give the name, the URL to where they can make a booking, just in
it's
case they
like
miss things in
yeah,
the
yeah.
notes or the description?
The website probably humandesignu.com.
humandesignu.com. Guys, that's
Yeah,
it. It's super easy. I will post everything. If you're watching on YouTube, it will be in the description. Otherwise, I'm also going to post this in the Money Magic. I'm going to post this in the groups. I'm going to post this on the pages. You got this. This is awesome. Thank you so much, Amara.
and a
And guys,
pleasure for me. Pleasure for me to do it with you, Benny.
I'm so happy that we got to do this because, wow, like I said, you were my introduction to this. Thank you, Money Magicians, for tuning in. And we're going to let Amara go.